getting there.
Yes, click there.
Click it. Yeah.
Okay. No,
That's enough.
That's enough. Yeah, click here.
Now close.
This is what we call kilowatt hour per capita. Kilowatt hour per capita. The amount of electricity per person, per citizen, per person in that population. You can go and see the per capita, the kilowatt hour per capita of the USA, or countries like Sweden, and so on. You see, what is the per capita? Kilowatt hour per capita. Now, in the case of Europe and the USA, you can remove the electricity for warming and cooling for the Middle East where it's very hot. Remove that. So if you remove, because for us here we don't have to have air conditioning, we don't need them so much, except in a few areas. Now, when you remove that, if you remove internal heating, you remove internal heating mainly. This is the main one. Internal heating or cooling. What is the kilowatt hour per capita of a modern country or a modern person?
We compare.
Like a country like Sweden is, what is the per?
So Sweden is at about 15,000 kilowatt hours.
Now you hear where you are now. Of course, we are now better than other countries. We are the lowest now in Africa.
Of course, we have countries like Chad, Benin that are way below 100 kilowatt hours per capita.
They are below 100?
Yes.
So please, just thank you so much. Sit down, sit down. For me, I can't dance and be happy. Nyoncha churere. Ngamba ntikare aho munyankore ntwagambira ntakiri. Abanyarwanda bakibaza icyo. Ntiwakiri, afadhali. Afadhali, it's better than nothing, but we have got a long way to go. So we have moved now, but we are going to continue moving. We are not going to relax. Because this little electricity we have here now is going to support the factories. It will be very soon, because now the surplus is like 500 megawatts. But very soon it will be overtaken. So that's why, where is Ayago Nankavirwa? We gave it to some people, what are they doing?
Ayago was given to Bridging Foundation. Bridging Foundation proposed to come with a package of $5 billion. These are the Jews who said money will come in and they will not take it back. Together with other.
Where are they now?
We gave them 365 days, which passed. We amended the MOU. The second year is also almost.
Okay. So the next is Ayago. We're going to do something on Ayago. Ayago. And Ayago will give us 840 megawatts. And then we have the geothermal. Then we have the solar. We are going moving. But be clear about the target. The target we need, for instance, if countries like Sweden, they live well with the kilowatt hour per capita of 15,000. We here, that's what those people should calculate for us, the people of energy, the engineers. We here, who don't have to have internal heating and air conditioning, maybe we could do, is 10,000? per kilowatt hour good? Is it 12,000? So that they guide us, that our target, where we live on the globe, the kilowatt hour per capita we need is so much. So that our population is now 46 million, now you can calculate what you need. And very soon, our population will be 100 million. In the next 30 years, it will be 100 million. Aho nyoni inja kuba mbasigwire ngenzero warahanga aho. So, I don't want my great-grandchildren okujuma omugurusi. Tumugurusi tene kiyakozire taratuhabwire. So that's why, for me, ibyanyo mbibarizaho kandi byona bihandikire. So I'm telling them that in 30 years' time, their population, by that time I'm sure I will be in heaven. Because 20 years I will be 100. 30 years I will be 110. But you never know, I may still be around. When my uncle died recently, just last month, but he was 106. He was 106. So 110, you never know. So let's be clear that the target is to have enough electricity for a modern person in our circumstances, which are slightly different from others. Now, here, I want to salute, there's one man, an Italian. I don't know what happened to him. The people who were with me in energy, is Kawagambe Karisa here? Arohanu. He was Kabagambe Karisa, Olio Museja Muitali Kawaryoha, Igenda Hamzindaro. Olio Musigazo Muitali.
Your Excellency, Omusejo Hanakwana Salini, he was working with Salini. He was called Antonio. Antonio.
Yes.
He was working with Salini. He was a construction engineer.
He was called Antonio.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you. Now, I want to thank that person, although he's not here, and I don't know where he is, because the Norwegians wanted to do this dam here. But they wanted to use the surface water, the surface run, to use the water in the river. And they would get us 200 megawatts. They had a company called NOPAC. And we were moving with them. Then this Italian man came. He was a young man, not so old. He came and said, why do you do this? Have you forgotten geography? Because I used to do geography. Don't you know there is a height difference between here and the lower part of the River Nile? Why don't you use that difference in height? Instead of just using the water on the surface, why don't you, through a tunnel, make the water drop more and give you more energy? So that's how I abandoned the Norwegians. I told the Norwegians, no, I've got somebody who has got a better idea. You make a plan. He made a plan, but I don't know what happened. What was the problem? Kabagambe Karisa. Akata innocent. Huh?
Your Excellency, the major problem was that he wanted to do it as an independent power plant. And that is private capital. And we had already seen that that was expensive.
Independent,
Power producer. It was
like Bujagari.
like Ujagari.
Oh, that's why we said we want to do it for the government.
Yes.
Oh, okay, thank you. Because then they make it expensive. Because they are trying to make Amagoba. But he had planted the idea in my head. So I want to really thank him, and if you know where he is, you call him, I give him a lunch. So once I got the idea of moving from the 200 megawatts to 660 megawatts, then I started planning to do it with government money. We have created an energy fund. We created our own energy fund. But then I'm very grateful that our Chinese friends came in. They said, not only can we do it technically, but we can co-fund it majorly. So that's how you find that our Chinese friends brought more or less 85% of the funding from Exim Bank of China, and we put in our 15% from the energy fund, and that's how we have built this wonderful facility. So I'm very grateful to that man who called that one here, the Italian, but I'm also very happy with China, and also the company Sinohydro, because they are a serious company. Now, the floating islands, we're going to take it up with agriculture. We shall make sure they have a permanent program upstream so that the papyrus does not float down. They harvest it before it gets here. Vandalism, okutema ebyoma. We handled it the other time. We arrested many of them, but I'm going to tell the cabinet on Monday to have a real program of dealing with that problem permanently. Now, we have told you a number of times that the modern economy of Uganda will have 4 sectors. Sector 1, commercial agriculture, with the Chivaro, Chura, Aymar, Otita, and with irrigation. I've told you this so many times. If you want to be modern, you have to have commercial agriculture with the Chivaro and with irrigation. This is number 1. And where we have done it, we are doing well. In the few places where it has been done, either partially or wholly. The second sector is manufacturing. Factories. As you are coming here, you saw the factories on the way, in Kawempe, in Waise, and all those areas. The third sector is services. hotels, transport, and so on, entertainment, all those are services. Then number 4, ICT. Information communication technology. This is new economy of computers. Now, in order to modernize these sectors, because everything causes something else. If you want to do this, you must have this. So if you want a modern economy, you must handle the 4 sectors as I have told you. But in order to modernize these sectors, you need many things, like peace and so on. You need peace, you need all that. But having got peace, the most important point is to have low transport costs. You must have low transport costs. Because if you have got high transport costs, the businesses will not succeed. And in order to have low transport costs, you need a railway. This is one of the cheapest forms of transport, the railway. That's why you hear that we are repairing the railway from Kampala to Tororo, from Tororo to Gulu and Pakwach. That old line, we are repairing it now. And we are going to build a new railway, standard gauge railway, modern railway, different from this old one, from Kampala to Malaba, and from Kampala to the border with the Congo, Kasese, and then from Tororo later to Guru, to Nimle, and we shall work with Sudan, to South Sudan, to take it to Juba. So that we have got low transport costs. Another way of low transport costs is the water, this water which you have here. You see, like Albert, you can take goods from Nimle all the way to Fort Portal through Lake Albert. God has put there a cheap highway for you. Then across Lake Victoria to Mwanza, to Kisumu, and so on. We are now using road transport because we had to do something quickly. And we need road transport for human beings. But road transport is not the best for cargo. Cargo is better transport, it's cheaper if you take cargo by railway and by water. And you see how much trouble we are getting with the road transport. Expensive, traffic jam, what have you, damaging the roads. You have seen that. But we had to do that because we were coming from a very low base. Abanyankole n'Abanyoro bagamba ngo arikuruga okuzumuta akora ki? Arikuruga okuzumuta akora ki? Our people here say that if you are coming from underground, you don't say this sun is not enough. Any sun is better than when you are underground. So we are coming from a very low base. So anything, transport, the tarmac road, fine. But the tarmac roads are not the best for cargo. Even to go from Mombasa, this is a wastage, very costly, damaging the roads. So you will see we are going to build pipelines to take the petrol through the pipelines. Petrol doesn't have to go on the roads. Petrol tankers, all this, no, it should be in the pipelines. Those petrol tankers should be off the road. Then cargo should be on the railway, so that you remain only with passenger vehicles on the road, which are not very heavy, which are, you will save the roads, you have cheaper products. So you the leaders, when you are talking to our people, clarify so that they don't confuse. Because when you talk too many things, people get confused. They don't know what is important and what is not important. So this is number one. Law, if you want a modern economy, because the goods you produce must be good quality and cheap. Otherwise, people will not buy your products, they will buy the products of others. In the past, we were buying goods from Europe. But if you look for goods from Europe now, they are not there. Many of the manufactured goods are now coming from China, from India, from other places. How were the Europeans chased out of manufacturing? High costs. High costs. Their vehicles are very expensive. Their things are forget about the Europeans. So, of course, for the Europeans, the biggest problem, one of their biggest problems was that they were paying themselves very high salaries. Because very high salaries are also another problem. If you pay yourself too high salaries, what you produce would not be affordable. That was part of the problem of the Europeans, because they don't listen. They think they know everything. Therefore, number one, ensure low transport costs. Number two, ensure low costs of electricity. Have cheap, reliable, affordable electricity. Number three, the cost of money in the banks, especially for agriculture and for manufacturing. The money from the banks must not be high interest rates. Because if it is high interest rates, how will you make profit? That's why for the government insisted on UDB, borrow from UDB, borrow from Myoga, from PDM, have nothing to do with the money lenders. Those money lenders are your enemies. And I'm going to do something about them. I'm going to crush the money lenders. They are criminals, but they're encouraged by you people. How do you allow somebody to say he has given you money, but you make an agreement that he has bought? In the document you say he bought when he just gave you 2 million shillings for paying school fees. Why should you do that? But anyway, we're going to arrest you now. We're going to arrest you. We're going to deal with the money lenders. So money for manufacturing, for agriculture must be cheap money. The low cost of money. For nightclubs and so on, you can, you can go to the commercial bank and borrow expensive money for nightclubs, and I'm not bothered with that so much. And importing wigs and perfumes, and you go to the commercial banks. But for manufacturing, for agriculture, UDB, please, you people, UDB. If the money is not enough, let's keep adding on, keep adding on. Don't go to the other places. We had to save our girl, the one who invested in Atiak Sugar. Very good project. But she had made a mistake of going to commercial banks. And that project was about to collapse. But we had to come in and save her. So this is the third issue. If you want a modern economy producing products which are competitive, this is the word they use. Crucial point number 3 is low cost of money. Then point number 4 is the human being, our young people. There must be, because you see, all these factories, like these dams which were built here, they need educated, skilled, healthy people to run them. So here, point number 4 is the developed human resource. Developed how? Educated, skilled, not just speaking English and Arabic and foreign languages and Latin. And you think that is education? You must have a skill. You must be educated, skilled, and healthy. This is the fourth point. The fifth one is the integration of the African market. Because when you produce goods, where do you sell them? With these so many words, I commissioned the Karuma Hydropower Station.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Apoyo Rubanga.
Apoyo Matek.
My President, short and brief, I want to put this across. Karuma Town Council is still young town council. As this power and this place looks nice, if you go outside, you could wonder yourself, where is this? We need power. We need streets to be open. We have no road fund. We have been given priority to change life of our people from 0 to 10 more greater than at the beginning. But right now, I'm assuming as you have come, there's a letter which I've drafted, you pass through it, then you see how to help our people. This is our voters. Lapono, I want to appreciate Paluo, the indigena of Karuma and all clients with this power state. Let me also thank you people to give land. Because without land, this power would have not been here. So I beg the Minister of Energy to work at that. The remaining balance where people are complaining of, you should work on it when the president is aware of that.
Karuma Hydropower Station has added 600 megawatts to our generation mix, and Karuma Interconnection Project has set the first infrastructure necessary for a 400 kilovolt transmission line backbone that would boost electricity supply nationally and regionally. Both are reported for the first time in their kind. I want to inform you, sir, that this is a special project which you conceived. It is special in its size. It is the first ever in this country to be built underground and the first of its kind in the East African region, first of its kind in East and Central Africa. It was the biggest in the Black Africa until recently when Angola built 1,000 megawatt. And of course, I'm leaving out Ethiopia. But it's a project of immense proportions. Your Excellency, upon your visionary guidance and the inauguration by the Honorable Minister of Energy and Mineral Development of the Project Steering Committee on 16th August 2016, the committee embarked on the responsibility of overseeing government's development of Karuma 600 megawatt and the Simba 183 megawatt hydropower projects, together with the evacuation transmission lines and substations. The committee has since convened over 200 meetings, which included over 80 visits to the project sites.
Your Excellency, the commissioning of Karuma project is like the proverbial journey that is told in one of the holy books of a group called the Israelites crossing from one place to what they termed the Promised Land. Those that began that journey, Moses, handed over the baton to Joshua, who delivered the Israelites to the Promised Land. And when they got to the Promised Land, the Israelites did not settle. They didn't reach and settled and said, hallelujah, we are in the Promised Land, work is done. Not at all. And that is the mantra of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development. We are not settled because of the commissioning of Karuma. Karuma, we want to thank everyone who has contributed to it, but as a ministry, we are committed to ensuring the energy security of the country. And with the guidance of Cabinet and Your Excellency, you guided us in the energy policy to target for 52,000 megawatts by 2040. And that's why today we are celebrating. Tomorrow we are getting back to the drawing board to ensure we continue the advancement of additional generation plants. We will diversify our energy mix. We are committed to deploy all the other renewable energy sources, but also nuclear energy to ensure the energy security of the country.
During the groundbreaking of this facility, I remember we were promised in the CSR that we would get a hospital here, state of the art, and also a model primary school. However, to our dismay, all these projects are being undertaken in other districts. For example, the hospital is being constructed at Masindi, at the military barracks, and then Oyam took the biggest share of all the CSR, and Kiryandongo, Karuma, we have not benefited, not even the classroom of. So we request the ministry to also consider us, because as I speak now, Oyam have benefited to a tune of about $3 million US. And for us, we are the mother host of this project. We are here smiling, but we are smiling with pain, sir. Sir, I was RDC, Resident District Commissioner in this area for about 3 years and 9 months during the peak of these projects. It wasn't easy. We would hold meetings every week, every 2 weeks, every month. I want to appreciate the team from the ministry, the team from UEGCL, our security team, I'll mention them later, only security, and others who are always, whenever I would issue summons, they will always come from Kampala, from this project. And we made sure this project wasn't sabotaged. So I want to commend them. So, in Kiryandongo, electricity was only along the highway. For example, from Titi River to Karuma, we have electricity lines along the highway. But if you move 200 meters deeper, you find that there is nothing. Bioyali town is very busy. We have refugees, and recently we received more refugees from the Greater Sudan, Darfur and others. There are very many people with small-scale industries, commercial buildings, houses, but the whole of Bioyali, with a population of about 150,000, including refugees now, we have issues to deal with electricity. Kiryandongo Town Council the same, even Karuma and other areas. In 2022, you commissioned Kiryandongo Sugar Factory, and you promised that the trading centers along the way, or the road heading to the factory, would benefit, or they would get connected to the national grid. We are waiting for the promise. I know we shall remind you through the PPS so that these trading centers, because even us, the pressure is on us. The local people are always calling us. The president promised us this. What are we waiting for? So politically, we just give them political answers. But I know in future, these towns will get connected.
I'm happy to say that today our bilateral relations are at the best time in history. Our fruitful and wide-range cooperation stands out in China-Africa cooperation. The recent 2024 Forum on China-Africa Cooperation FOCAC Beijing Summit, which was successfully concluded, is a key event at a critical moment as China and African countries embark on a new journey to realize modernization. During the summit, leaders from China and Africa announced a significant upgrade in relations, agreed to elevate the overall capitalization of China-Africa relations to an all-weather China-Africa community with a shared future for a new era, reached many political consensus on China-Africa joint efforts to advance modernization. China's President Xi Jinping announced the 10 partnership actions for modernization, including the 10 areas of cooperation as partnership.
This Karuma hydropower plant is therefore a landmark development in our infrastructure. It was started in 1999 with contract signing in 2013 and was meant to be completed in 2018. But after the contract period of 60 months, so the project, however, faced many logistical challenges. Technical challenges, specifically issues relating to land acquisition delays and transmission line vandalism of the infrastructure. Land acquisition delays, I think this will somehow be sorted out by the bill which was tabled this Monday, this week, by the Minister of Lands, the bill entitled Land Evaluation Bill. I think this will help us to settle some of the challenges that we face in my ministry, but also in other ministries where their projects require land acquisition. We spend a lot of time finding who the owner is, when you say you are going to acquire compulsorily, you have to gazette within a certain period of time. Meanwhile, time is going. Then the bickerings and misunderstandings within the families on who should sign, who is the rightful person authorized to deal with land, especially land which is customary. All those are challenges, sir, that make us delay. So this project suffered when COVID-19 came in. The country was locked down, no movements, and therefore nothing was taking place. But finally we are here, and we have been able to commission, and we are learning in the next big projects, Ayago, 840 megawatts, Kiba, 400 megawatts, Ariong, 392 megawatts. We have learned, I am sure, that we will be able to face these challenges quickly in order for us to execute these projects in the timelines that we set ourselves. I want to thank the chairman, LC1, and I really enjoyed your speech. For example, the chairman knows the importance of power. He talked about how industries are going to benefit, how the communities are going to benefit, how we are going to see economic transformation. Thank you so much. But I also noted the challenges that are remaining to handle, especially the project-affected people, and I will be mentioning something in my speech. People would like to know how much this project has taken and probably how much the tariff will cost. I would like to mention that we were lucky, and I want to thank the President, who insisted that we use part of the money from the Energy Fund and co-invest it into this plant by 15%, which will make this power from here cheaper. It will be at 4.97 US cents per kilowatt hour, which is generally affordable. But it was because of the effort that the President put in place through his guidance to make sure that we put money. We got money, a loan finance from the Exim Bank of China, which contributed the 85%, $1.435 billion US dollars of the engineering, procurement, and construction cost, while our 15% was $253.26 million US dollars. That brings it to the total of $1.688.38 billion US dollars. We are grateful to the People's Republic of China for the significant support and walking the journey with us through Sinohydro, a Chinese contractor whom have been introduced here today. We appreciate the great cooperation. Your Excellency, this project has been executed through 3 key players. The oversight role was provided by my ministry, and the implementation was by Uganda Electricity Generation Company, and then the Uganda Electricity Transmission Company. We also had a steering committee. The chair has been here at the podium. So we worked as a team. The project had 3 components, including the 600 megawatt hydropower plant. The second one is the Karuma interconnection project that connects the dam to the substations, as I mentioned earlier. And
ladies and gentlemen, while we celebrate the technical and economic benefits of the Karuma power project, we must also acknowledge its impact. The surrounding communities have benefited immensely through corporate social responsibility initiatives, i.e. hospitals, schools, and other social amenities constructed as part of this project have significantly improved the quality of life for the local population. This is a clear demonstration of how large-scale infrastructure projects can uplift communities and create lasting benefits beyond economic growth. Additionally, the government's ongoing efforts to expand electricity grid to rural areas will ensure that the benefits of projects like Karuma are felt by every Ugandan, no matter where they live. The rural electrification program is already bringing power to areas that have been underserved for decades, and we remain committed, Your Excellency, to achieving access to electricity by all Ugandans by 2030. As we look to the future, the Karuma Hydro project serves as a stepping stone for greater achievements in the energy sector. Uganda's goal of reaching 52,000 megawatts of generation capacity by 2040 is within our reach with projects like this one. Our NRM government will continue to prioritize investments in renewable energy, including solar, wind, and geothermal power, as we look towards creating a diverse and resilient energy mix.
Your Excellency, the completion of this 600 megawatt Karuma Hydro plant power is a landmark achievement that showcases your administration's dedication to fulfilling Uganda's Vision 2040, which in its visions transformed Ugandan society from peasant to modern and prosperous country within 30 years. This power plant will undoubtedly enhance Uganda's electricity generation capacity and improve access to reliable electricity, which is essential for industrialization, job creation, and overall economic growth. It is our prayer, Your Excellency, that after commissioning this, we commission many more in this country. Your Excellency, the power dam has created impact on Kiryandongo district and even our neighboring districts where my colleague chairmen are coming from. So the chairman already mentioned that there is a change in the image of Karuma town. I want to appreciate the housing unit, which is here at the power dam. Of course, it comes with a population, and that population is a great market for us in Kiryandongo, which has an implication, as everybody can see.